Let's get ready to play some football. We thank you for coming on and checking our stuff. Please hit that thumbs up. Please hit that like. Please share this video, subscribe, and hit that little bell, the notification tab. It tells you every time we drop a video. We got a lot of stuff coming. The Norteños and the Sureños. That's right, the Northerners and the Southerners played a football game inside a prison. And not a level 1 and not a level 2. It was a level 3 yard. Level 3 yard main line with a lot of level 4s there too. So you could say it was a 3 to 4 yard. But this is how it went down. And there was no big shot callers there. There was guys running their cars, but it was kind of lax. And I gotta say, one thing about the Northerners is they really don't sleep, man. They stay on high alert. They're very outnumbered, it's for every 5 people that come in from Southern California, there's probably 1 Northerner. Okay, so within that yard, I said there was a track, right? So in the middle of that track, it's about a football field, It's I'd say it's Sunday afternoon or something like that. It's late in the day because you have yard all day. Every couple hours, they have yard recall. You can go in back to your cell, and other people come out. So this was like the last one of the day, and I worked the Southern weight pile. That was my job. That's the job the Department of Corrections gave me to oversee. That was my job. Not a shot caller, by the way. I mean, just to keep the weight pile clean, the weights in order, make sure it looked nice, whatever. So that was my job, working the weight pile. And it was kind of cool because I could go out there early to the yard, lift weights when no one's out there. Here we go. The yard's active all day, going in and out. Now at the time, the situation was the whites and the Mexicans. Usually we had a good thing together. It was, we were cordial. We liked each other. We could sit down with each other. We could trade canteen. The Northerners, there was no really communication. I mean, there, obviously there's always a little bit of respect. But then again, but the guys from Salinas and everywhere, they were pretty much, they do their own thing, because they hate the Southerners, And for the most part, the Southerners are so massive that they break themselves up into cars. Orange County, San Gabriel Valley, LA, Harbor area, Ventura, SGV, IE. They break themselves up, so they break themselves up even smaller. So even though there's a massive amount of people, they break themselves into smaller groups, which causes sometimes a lot of politics. The Northerners, on the Northerner side, you have all the guys from Stockton, Salinas, this and that. But at the time, there was friction with them and the Bulldogs, the Fresno Bulldogs, which I heard now they go by the Bulldogs. And Bulldogs have a massive car, man. I mean, they always, everywhere I've been, they have had massive cars. They're huge. They're almost like everywhere you go, you see 18th Street. Everywhere you go from LA, everywhere you go, you see Bulldogs. So I know what's going on with the Bulldogs now. I'm talking then. So all you active guys, don't trip out. I'm talking about then, But the Bulldogs were actually, they would talk to the Northerners and they would, give Southerners a what's up too. It wasn't so much a hate with them. But that was the Bulldogs. That wasn't so much just, all the guys from, Salinas, Stockton, all those places, Sacramento, San Francisco, they all like pretty much didn't want to associate with the Southerners. So that's what's going on in the yard. There hasn't been a lot of war going on with them. So here we go, getting into the game now. So I'm working on the weight pile. For some reason, I don't know what I was doing. Maybe the guards, part of my job was to clean up something in the yard. So I might have had a rake in my hand or something. Well, anyways, I was on the track in the middle of the field. There is a gun tower. I was probably cleaning up something. So all of a sudden, I don't know how this happened, man. The guys from LA, the guys from San Fernando Valley, the guys from San Gabriel Valley, the guys from Harbor area, the guys from Ventura, Chiquez, and all these guys got together And all of a sudden, they're meeting on the field, the Norteños who were out there. Now, I don't think in the Norteños, there was none of the Bulldogs who played. I think for some reason they were all inside, whatever. So here comes all the Norteños, and somehow they set up a football game. They're going to play football. And you already know where this is going, right? So you have all these guys, Salinas, Stockton, everywhere, are going to play all these cars. Well, the one car that was missing within the south side was the Orange County car, which that's where I was from. And I did not participate in that football game. I didn't think it, my thinking at the time, now it's like whatever, but at the thinking at the time is this is not supposed to happen. This is going to get in trouble. There's no shot caller in the yard, from, the Big M, or there might have been one from the other side, but we're not sure. But anyways, so no one from my car is there in that thing. I was the only one on the yard, I think, from my car, but none of us were involved in that football game. So here we go. They're going to start playing football. Is the gun tower across the track. So the football game's going on inside the grass, inside the track. So anyways, I'm just like, whoa, I'm tripping out that this even like who set this up, and all the big guys in the yard for the cars, except for my car, were in that game. And one of the big guys from the Northerners, which the guy had an N on his back. So we weren't sure at the time if he was Nuestra Familia, or there was rumors that he was Structure. This is at that time, guys. Remember, it's all different now. So we were never sure about him, right? But he was definitely somebody who had a lot of pull and a lot of people respected, 20 on 20. Well, anyway, so I'm at the 50-yard line watching this, and I'm like tripping out. I can't believe this is happening. Like, dude, which is not. I would say, especially for the Northerners too, because you guys are more trained to, they hate the Southerners. The Southerners are so into killing themselves, and politicking, you know what I mean? So it's kind of a trip that this is going on. So Northerners kick off the football, whatever, they go, and the ball ends up somewhere around the 5-yard line. The Southerners have to go all the way, let's say they have to go about all the way to the other side of the field. So they got 70, 80 yards to go to make a touchdown. One Northerner that I noticed is really mad. Just, you could tell even though he's playing the game, man, he's not happy, bro. Before you know it, they're at about the 10-yard of the Southerners. Before you know it, an argument starts. So it's broken up, whatever. It was almost going to be a fight with that feisty Northerner, So the Southerners hike the ball. I guess the Northerner comes in, and he's a little rougher than he needs to be. Well, you know what happens? Boom, the Southerner hits him, and it just starts off full-blown little riot on the yard. Well, let me just say there. So the fighting starts, the fighting begins, and it was like an earthquake. It started with the little crowd by the ball, and it just went to the whole field right there. Nobody jumped in from off the field from the weight piles, because there was still Northerners in the weight pile. There was whites in their weight pile, and the Southerners in the weight pile. None of those guys came. So they start fighting, and I'm like, man, this is split second. So I had to drop the rake, and I ran in. And remember, all you guys, before you start talking, those you know me, I wasn't as big as I am now. So I'm at the 50-yard line. I have to make it to the 10-yard line to go help. Even though I didn't agree with all these guys from LA and everywhere being in this game, I still had to help. And the gunner's behind me about 30 feet. So I'm running over there to try to make it. And I'm just looking at the fight going ahead, and I'm thinking which way to go. And I seen some little guy from LA that I really liked, man. This guy was cool little youngster, bro, and he's getting tossed up. He's getting tossed up bad by two Northerners, two pretty yoked up, thin but fit Northerners, and just getting knocked up, knocked up. Sorry, guys, knocked out, just pounded on his face, whatever. And so I had to go about 40 yards to get to the fight. And so when I was just about to get there, the youngster saw me coming from LA, and he was just getting tossed up. And I was almost going to make it to help him with these Northerners. Nobody had weapons because it was a spur of the moment thing. When I go to I'm going to get one of the Northerners. The gunner starts shooting, boom, 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 and these are live rounds. I think I don't think he shot directly at us. He probably did some warning shots to the dirt, but the signs do say no warning shots. So thank God everybody hit the ground. And I'm on the ground, and I'm almost next to that little youngster from LA, and I'm just telling him, bro, I tried to make it, bro. I'm sorry. He goes, I know, I saw you. He's all tore up, knots on his face or whatever, man. Poor guy. But everybody else, I don't know what happened in their fights, who won, who lost, whatever. But so we end up going to the hole. They end up gaffing us up. So about 40 people. It's Northerners, Southerners, everything, So we get in there, and then right away I have a homeboy in there, and they're asking me what's going on. And, there's Northerners next to you, there's Southerners next to you. There's just so many people in the hole. Obviously, they're smack talking. There's a couple of guys smack talking. We had a loud Southsider who was just all mouth, man. Just, there's no reason to be talking trash to the Nortenos in there, but he was, and then the Nortenos responded, and then, hey, see if we get to the yard, we'll take care of this and this and that, but there was no need for that, man. Just be quiet and do your thing, that's the way I look at it. But anyways, nonetheless, I gotta take the Southsiders, at that time, I gotta take their side. We're in there, we're waiting to go to classification, days go by, and they start letting us out to the yards in the hole. So the Southsiders, we go outside, we go to the yard, and there's so many of us, bro. There's so many of us. We were on 2 different yards. That's how many were in there. 2 different yards in the hole. Half on one side, half on the other side. And they're asking me, they're like, well, how did you end up in here? You weren't even playing in the football game. I go, dude, I had to get in, man. I'm going to leave you guys hanging, bro, and be a chump. So whatever, even though I disagree with it. And again, I didn't really hold no weight at the time, So some of my homies did, but me, I'm a youngster at the time. So I just had to get in there and do what I had to do. And then, so, got a lot of props from them, but, I don't know if any of them ever got any flack for playing in that football game, because there was some leaders of the cars who played in that football game. Leaders from Chiques, leaders from San Fernando, from LA. They were just all in that game, man. So anyways, we're in the hole, we're out there showering in the yard. Everywhere you go, you're handcuffed, this and that. You go back to your cells. Now the Northerners go out to the yard, and from my cell, I could see them. First thing they're doing, they're regimenting. They're out there. They're exercising, military style. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Doing burpees, doing everything. Militant, man. Militant style. And I guess the Southerners outnumbered them because they all fit on 1 yard. So they were all exercising on that 1 yard. And they were doing the, in sets and rows and this and that. And that guy I told you had the N on his back, or he might have been from the structure or something. He was in there, but he wasn't in the front calling the shots, which is good. He was probably just being down low, whatever, right? So anyways, I'm watching them, and I bring this up in part so you guys kind of get the picture. Their thing is do your exercise in your cell. Do your exercise in your cell. Where the Northerners from jump 1, they were very militant and aggressive, and they were getting ready for war in their mind, because they were outnumbered. They're usually outnumbered, like I said, 5 to 1. Being 5 to 1, though, they have to be ready to jump, and most times they are. And some of you might say, Paul, you're giving them too much props. And I go, no, I just have to be real, because there's not as many of them. They have to stay more unified to jump, Where the Southerners, we're so split up into our cars that no one's on the same page, where all the Northerners were on the same page besides the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs were just kind of like, whatever, chill, and down for theirs too, man. We could get on here and say, forget the Northerners, forget the Southerners, forget the Bulldogs. But man, everybody has down dudes in their car. Everybody has lames in their car. Everybody has programmers in their car. So we can't just say one is, is tougher than the other, man. That time's ended, there's tough guys in every car. So that was the Northerners program out there, and I'm watching the way they did their thing, and they were militant, man. So they came out to the yard. Well, actually went to classification, And so we're going to classification. They give everybody the paperwork. We don't know what's going to happen, if they're going to move us to different prisons and whatever. Because, you know, in Tracy, after 10 days, you get your TV. So we're just in there. After 10 days, they led us to the yard. I want to say, you know, they spoke to everybody, and it was just one of those things that just happened spur of the moment. It wasn't a planned riot, you know. So everybody was let go back to the yard. And all those people that were talking smack, that southerner and the northerner, smack in the hole, you know, nothing happened on the yard. They didn't do nothing to each other. They seen each other, and I was around. I seen them pass by each other. You know, neither of them backed down. They just passed by each other, you know. It was just like, let it be. We're on the yard. There's no need for that. So I look back, and I think it was made out of good intentions, that everybody thought, hey man, you know, no one's getting stabbed in the yard right now. But they should have known better. There's tension, man. They should have just chilled and not played. But it was a lesson learned for them. After you grow up and you hear all these stories about the Northerners and the Norteños, and I'm sure from your end, if you're a Norteño hearing this, you hear about the Southerners and the war and all the people that were killed back and forth, and to be able to play football game together on the level 3/4 yard is a pretty incredible thing. So you fast forward to now, there's a peace treaty going on in the yards. All the big guys are mainlining. So it's just an incredible thing that I see that all the history and all the murder and all the assaults and all the stabbings, and to see that these guys ended up playing football, but then even forwarding it to now that they're programming on yards together. It's just an incredible. So is it real? Is it fake? I don't know. What does the future hold? I don't know. And then you got all the 2-5s and everybody coming, and you know what's going to happen integrating the yards. You know, what do you guys think? So my story is not to glorify the life, but I do like to bring you content that's real, some stories that really happened, so you guys could think back and hopefully make some better choices than I did. And I know some of you guys I made way more worse choices than I have, man, but we could always, it's never too late to get back on track, especially with the Lord. That's the walk I walk, man. Been walking that life for about 25 years now. So what I want to say out there to all you guys, Northerners, Southerners, Woods, Blacks, hey man, if I could change a Southerner, Southsider, racist, hater, who hated everybody and everything, including law enforcement, if I could change and love y'all, love my Southsiders, love my Woods, love my Northerners, love my Blacks, you know, even those officers, man, I have love for everybody. I don't hate anybody no more, and that's only through Jesus Christ.